it's relatively close, and the question is, can we make sure that this is soundproof?
Yes, I believe we can.
I think that would be the most significant, and there's no problem about a well being within a certain number of feet of the biggest electric facility we have in Ukiah?
No.
Nothing, no waves that could get in the water? Okay?
As long as you don't use your cell phone.
Councilmember Crane, you gonna wind this up?
Probably not, but
I find myself wondering, excuse me, is it me?
you should be.
If we can't spend money on two things at once, can we direct, or maybe we've already kind of done so, staff to proceed with geotechnical explorations as quickly as possible while still moving in the direction of a test well with the ability to shift the test well boring given results of the geotechnical stuff? I mean, are we there? Is that where we are right now?
I certainly hope so. I mean, that would be the intent, would be to simultaneously try to go out for bid on this project, but at the same time get as much data as we possibly can in order then to be able to make the best decision regarding how we move forward with that well. You know, do we need to, you know, can we move it, you know, sort of in a different place on that parcel? Is that not the right parcel? I mean, I think all of those, we could get a lot of that information that we need to make those decisions, hopefully at the same time as we're trying to move forward with getting this well online, and we can do that through the geotechnical testing at the same time as we're pursuing this. So.
Councilmember Crane.
Well, my concern is, and I that is the best scenario, and I don't foresee this, but I wasn't in the meeting with Tabor and those folks, and my concern is if we cannot get that equipment soon enough, what then? And so that's, do we wait for the equipment and hold the well off, or do we move forward? So that's my question to you all.
We're looking at a significant risk, and that's why I hope we can do several things at once, as several of people have suggested.
There's more than one company that offers the services that we seek. There are not a great deal of projects currently as ready as ours is for the use of that sort of equipment and skill set. So we're still descending into that valley of declining work for professionals. So it's my hope that you can find someone ready, willing, and able in the very near term. Councilman Roden spoke to, well, what about cooperating with the electrical department? What are the implications of siting in conjunction with the substation? I'd ask that question of you, and I think your response to my question about has there been a discussion with the electrical department, I think the answer was at this point no. I would hope that such a discussion does take place to determine if the 50-foot requirement for clearance from sewers and the other suitable criteria can be met with siting the well to the south and east of the parcel, or possibly to the north, to the south and west. But I think, just from a land use point of view, my bias is towards the south and east to give us the best return and the best use, the greatest freedom for the expansion of the substation if that's needed, and the best recovery of cost by selling off the Gobi Street frontage. Hopefully part of the geotechnical work would be to get some more opinions about cone of depression. because I think we've collectively gotten a couple. There may be some specific data that would help us sort through that. Because it may be that 1,300 feet is not enough in some formations. And in other formations, 800 foot may be gobs, and we don't know. Bottom line, we don't know.
And I've been wondering about that all evening, is if we're wrong on that, we could have our well and mess up well 4. So I think that's really well taken. Are we getting close to a motion here?
Well, I'd like to touch on something that Mr. Thomas spoke to. We do have another site that I believe is comparable to the Thomas site, and that's immediately across the freeway. And I would hope that this body would instruct staff as part of, in fact, I'm willing to struggle with trying to make a motion. I never do that well, so whatever assistance can be offered, appreciated. But if we can get the preliminary work done on several sites with several holes, several punchings or borings, I would hope that concurrently or immediately after we develop the information for the Gobi Street parcel, that we proceed with the southwest portion of the land we already hold on the opposite side of the freeway from Thomas's.
So that's a motion added to the recommended action?
I'm not sure.
Go for it.
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, trying to end the discussion for this evening. I'm going to open this up one more time to public comment.
I just wanted some clarification. Is the motion is to
too.
approve the resolution also?
Yes.
Okay, just want council to know it's got to be by a 4/5 vote.
Okay, because it's an emergency. Oh. At this point, we've had a very extended discussion. Hope,
Maybe with if we're citing specifics, and I think we are talking about doing that where we would test, I think we should probably open that up to 4 locations. One being one corner of the northwest corner of this site, the south.
I don't think I don't think you mentioned, at least in the motion, I didn't hear you mention the exact corner you.
That's why he's
No, I
asked
didn't.
clarification.
No, that's what I'm bringing. If we're going to mention locations, I'd like to say there are 4 locations. One would be the water treatment plant location by the softball fields that we've talked about. One would be the northwest corner of the Orchard Gobi property. One would be the southeast corner of the Orchard Gobi property. And then another one would be on the RCHDC property over by the proposed Orchard Avenue extension. We've had discussions with RCHDC. That was close to the Thomas property, and they have discussed that they would be interested in allowing us to put a well there. So if we're going to have these folks out here, and it sounds like it's not too terribly expensive, those 4 locations would probably be kind of the spots that staff would recommend.
So,
Rudd.
yeah, I would like a clarification. When we talk about the Gobi Street site and the northeast and northwest corners, are we talking about the whole property, or are we talking about the utility portion of the property where the test wells would go?
The whole property.
Did he say, I don't think he said the north, that both two.
I said the northwest and the southeast.
The northwest.
And the southeast.
When you say northwest, you're speaking of 50-plus feet south of the north parcel line?
Yes.
Okay.
Northwest minus 50 south.
Again, this is